The Last Supper is a scene in the Bible that has been recognized by people all over the world for centuries. Through the years, many artists have interpreted what the Bible says, and they have put that into a piece of art. There are many similarities and differences that can be compared by looking at a few different versions of the Last Supper. This first piece of art was created back in the 6th century. It is a mosaic found in a basilica church in Ravenna, Italy. This mosaic depicts Jesus and his disciples reclined and eating around a C-shaped table. The C-shaped table resembles the traditional setup of a Roman triclinium. A Roman triclinium was typically 3 tables or recliners that were in the shape of a C with a table in the middle for eating. Jesus is easily identified by the halo hovering above his head and the brownish cloak he wears, while the others wear white cloaks. Judas is easily pointed out in this painting. He is partially excluded from the others and is also eating a piece of bread with a black bird on it. This could symbolize Judas because he is the betrayer of Christ. Judas is also the only one without a halo in this painting. This interpretation also includes the C-shaped table that resembles a Roman triclinium. In Ugolino's painting, there is a much different setup. This painting includes a rectangular table instead of the traditional Roman triclinium or C-shaped tables. This painting shows the disciples clothed in colorful cloaks instead of white ones. Christ is elevated over the others. Also, as seen in other paintings, John leans towards Jesus. This is derived from a verse that describes John as leaning on Jesus' bosom. Artists may have included this depiction to defer John from Judas. In this painting, the artist depicts this scene similarly to Ugolino's painting. Both paintings were created in the same century. The artist painted a rectangular table, benches, halos, colorful clothes, Judas with no halo, and John leaning towards Jesus. However, Christ is at the center of this painting, which directs the focus of the painting towards him more than the other paintings. Many paintings, including this one, show the disciples with faces of shock and confusion. This is because many paintings take place the moment after Jesus announces that one of the disciples will betray him. The artist to this painting is unknown. He paints Christ, the table, the disciples, and the stuff on the table all in black and white. However, the artist paints the benches, floor, ceiling, and walls in color along with the golden halos around each of their heads. The artist may have done this to make a drastic contrast of the halo with the disciples. Christ also has golden rays coming off of him in this painting. This may be in relation to how he said he is the light of the world. One of the most popular versions of the Last Supper was created by Leonardo da Vinci. He painted it on a dry plaster wall in a church in Italy. This painting really demonstrates a feast-like supper. It takes place in a large dining room hall with a very large rectangular table. Leonardo paints a more realistic interpretation that has details of each person. There is nothing that points out Judas or John like other paintings do. However, painting it on a large wall allowed Leonardo to paint small details. Like Leonardo's painting, this painting leans towards the more realistic view. The setting of this painting is interesting in the fact that most of the disciples were fishermen, but they are sitting in a nice-looking building. It also looks like they are being served on by a wealthy dressed person. This can be assumed because typically artists just paint the 12 disciples and Jesus. However, in this painting, an extra person is included and is shown by serving one of the disciples a drink. The artist may have painted it like this because in the Bible, Jesus is referred to as the King of Kings. This painting has a unique tone by having a bright foreground and a dark background. Jesus and the disciples are in the foreground. It seems that Juanes makes this contrast of light and dark to show that the world is dark and that they were the light. Juanes takes it a step further with showing Judas. Judas is clothed in a specific shade of yellow that is known as the color for envy. One last thing that Juanes includes that many other paintings don't is the washing bowl for feet. It is mentioned that Jesus washes the feet of all his disciples at the Last Supper as an act of serving. Unlike most paintings of the Last Supper, this one has many people in it. It seems like they are at some restaurant type of place where Christ and the disciples sit at one round table and other people are in the background. Above Jesus' head looks like a few angels floating around as if they are waiting for him to come with them. There are also children all around the table serving the disciples. For centuries, artists have created works of art that reflect what they visualize based on events in the Bible and the time period they were in. Similarities and differences can be recognized when they are compared. Through symbolism and personal interpretation, each artist creates a unique piece of art that shows a critical historic event that largely defines Christianity.